Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and I had no intentions of starting a new journal anytime soon, but of course I was watching YouTube the other day and the Treasured page introduced a new project. It's called the Layered Junk Journal Project. And as I was watching this video, I just vibed with this idea more and more and more and more. And of course, now we are starting a new journal. Now, I won't go into all the backstory of this. I will put a link to the video down in the description box. Please go and watch it. She always has a delightful tale to tell. That is sort of our inspiration for this project that is ahead. And basically, this one is making a trifold journal cover, of which each of the three pieces are a different size. It will run for 3 months, and there will be prompts and all sorts of fun things to work with. But basically, we're going back in time to about the 1890s. And it involves a trip to Sri Lanka. Or in this case, it's actually Ceylon, because back then Sri Lanka was still under British rule. So Ceylon is a tropical island in the Asian region. It's just my vibe. I love anything tropical. I love islands. I love the beach. There will be sort of botanical things included in this. You'll know more if you watch her video. And I just had to have a go. So I'm going to start at the very beginning, and the first piece that we are doing is the start of our cover. We are taking scraps and we are going to make a 13 by 13 centimetre page or cover. This will become a pocket as we progress through this. So I love tropics. I love all those things. But the other thing that really caught my eye as I was watching this video, on her desk was another journal that has nothing to do with this project. And it had a fabric cover. And I just loved that. So I decided to start off my journal. I need a fabric cover that vibes the same way as hers does. Now, of course, I can't produce it perfectly, nor do I want to, because I have a couple of other ideas that I want to work with. But what I'm starting out with is a piece of scrap fabric that has had some coffee treatment, been in my stash for a long time, and I have marked out a 14 centimetre square. So it's a centimetre bigger. The idea is I want to decorate this, and then it gives me cutting space, and I know that my edges will all be decorated accordingly. And I thought the easiest way for me to create this, first of all, actually no, I'm going to show you something first. I've already had one go at heading in the direction of what I wanted, and this is what I ended up with. I used my gel plate and acrylic paint and a little mini roller, and this is what I ended up with. But I've decided this just doesn't quite cut what I'm after. I may use this down the track. I might just keep this for something else. So I've decided to do a take 2 on all of that, and I'm going to use my watercolors. So let's see what we can manage to create. Now, I've got a nice big soft brush here, and I'm going to pick some colours that represent where we're headed and what we're going to do. So I'm starting off with a pale yellow because it represents the sun and, of course, sand. Sri Lanka is an island. It is renowned for its amazing beaches, and it is tropical. Now, that may be a bit too light. We might go up tiny bit more. How about we try a bit of this one? Oh, that's very bright. Oh, but that's okay. It will lighten up as it dries. Let's go back to the lighter one again here. I'm just creating a background. There will be things going on top of this, so I don't have to be too pedantic about the actual colours I end up with. I just wanted, I don't know, this was just a bit too bold. I wanted something just, I don't know, not quite like that. So we're going to experiment. Now, we might leave the yellow for, no, I need a tiny bit more. I want a little bit more of this lighter one up in this corner here. No, I might have to use the darker one, I think. Okay. Then in the centre, I want some earth. Now, in this modern day and age, we know Sri Lanka is very famous for its tea. It is a big tea growing nation. It is one of their major exports. But in the time, the frame that we are heading into here, in the 1890s, back then, just before that, Sri Lanka used to be one of the biggest coffee producing nations in the world. It was their biggest export, and the British who were ruling made the most of the successful coffee growing, and they made lots of money. But then, just before 1890, this horrible leaf rust appeared, and it caused the absolute devastation of the coffee plants. Now, it had a nickname called Devastating Emily, and it literally did that. So around the exact same time we're going visiting to Sri Lanka, the coffee plantations were dropping fast, and they started growing tea. And of course, thankfully for them, that of course has now become what they are absolutely renowned for as an exporter. And I think, I mean, so many nations have tea drinking lovers, so they will be very grateful for Ceylon's production. So I'm sunning and beaching, sanding here. I've got some brown in the centre representing the coffee trade, because back in the time that we are going exploring, that is what was prevalent. And then we're going to add some darker green. The other thing, of course, one of their staples in their diet and in construction and making a lot of things is the coconut tree, coconut palm. Like many tropical countries, coconuts are a way of life. It's not only provides a food source, but they use the leaves to weave, and they make mats and roofs for their huts and all sorts of things. I've lived in the Pacific, and I tell you what, coconut was just involved in everything. And now, of course, we're adding some water, because it is an island completely surrounded, so you can only access by boat or plane. And I love beaches and tropics and islands, so we are going to have fun playing with this. And we're going to add a few different shades of blue. Funny thing is, from my research that I've done, I don't know if Sri Lanka actually used the ocean for much of their production of saleable items, but we're going to find out. We're going to investigate, and then we are going to create a journal about all this fun stuff. Okay, I think we are done here for this part. All I have to do is let this dry. Actually, I'll just get a little bit bolder down here in this corner here. And then we're going to do some more to this, ready for our cover. So I'll be back when this is nice and dry. So it took quite a while to dry, but I think it is good enough to work on now. I got the old hairdryer onto it and then it feels pretty good now. Probably leave it overnight if you have time. But the next step, I have been through all my stamps and I've collected together things that I think suit this theme. And we're just going to stamp layer upon layer upon layer until I think we're done. Now, knowing me, you know, it's very hard for me to figure out where to stop and where to start. Sometimes I just get a bit carried away, but let's have some stamping fun. I've got a few blocks out. I have my Ranger archival ink. I'm going to do it all in black. And let's see where we get to. So for some of the base, I just want to add a little bit of text and I want to have it in strange directions. It doesn't all have to be upright, and I also don't want it too bold or bright. So I'm not focusing on using a lot of ink, and I don't care if I have little blank spots because this is definitely a layer upon layer type arrangement. So I don't mind if it's not super bold. So I've got a couple of different fonts happening here. So the first very obvious choice for me is an older looking sailing ship, because that's how all goods, services, people moved from point A to point B if they were in Ceylon. Actually, hang on. Let's just make sure. This one I would prefer more definite, so I better make sure I get it all done. We're going to pop that down here. Fabulous. So the next one I've got here is some waves. I think we'll put a few of those down across the bottom. So the next one, we have a palm leaf. Plenty of those in the tropics. And we'll swap this one out for this one. Another very tropical leaf. So the next one I've got here is a compass. Make sure I get north up the top. So the next one I've got here is a butterfly. Butterflies will play a big part in this journal. And this next one is another butterfly, because why not? Then I think we need a little bit of a fish in the ocean. And then I've got some leaves to represent tea. Now I have the word discover. And now the word explore. And now the word journey. All very appropriate, I think, for what we're up to with this journal. Okay, and you know what? I think I'm going to call it quits with this. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It is exactly the sort of vibe I was going for. It has a tropical feel. It represents some of the things that can be discovered in Sri Lanka, and absolutely loving how it turned out. It's actually better than what I thought. So I'm glad I left the other one go and did this with the watercolor. I think it's absolutely delightful. So what I've done, I'm creating a playlist called the Layered Junk Journal Project. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of little videos as we put this journal together. So I'll call it quits with this, and then in the next video we will finish off our cover, make some fun ephemera for it, and hidden pockets and goodness knows what else. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please go and watch the Treasured Pages video. It is delightful and hopefully might even inspire you to have a go at this one. And thank you so much for watching. And until the next video, take care. Bye for now.